Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a very fabulous day. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Brianna and I hope you guys enjoy my channel. And if you are not new here, welcome back. And thank you guys so much for watching. Before you leave, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so you can be notified anytime I upload. And I promise you're not going to want to miss out on the videos that I have in store for you guys. So, as you can tell by the title, I am doing my 14 and pregnant labor and delivery story. So last week I decided to go ahead and upload my 14 and pregnant story. After I seen all the positivity that you guys were giving me, I decided to go ahead and make a series about this. So Wednesdays are going to be like story time, sit down videos. So if you like these types of videos, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment below, and we're just gonna jump right in. Okay guys, so we're just gonna jump right in and I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's see. The last few weeks of my pregnancy, I was miserable. And we were out of school on Christmas break. And I kept telling my mom, I really do not want to go back to school pregnant at all. Like, we were supposed to start back school January 4th and I was determined to get that baby out before then. So in between this time, I was walking every day, bouncing on a exercise ball, and it didn't really do anything for me. I did have a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions. I think the last few days I was having contractions, but they were very inconsistent. So I remember I was asleep and it was the day before school. So school started January 4th and this was January 3rd. So all that night I was having contractions and I thought that they were hours apart, but evidently they were about 3 to 5 minutes apart. But in between it, I slept so good. So that's why it seemed like hours before I had another one. So I woke up at, I want to say about 6 o'clock that morning, and I went to use the bathroom like I usually did, and I turned on my shower water. Well, as soon as I turned on my shower water, I started kind of like dripping, and I thought maybe I had just like tinkled myself, because if you have been pregnant or if you are pregnant, you know, if you sneeze, you tinkle yourself. If you laugh, you tinkle yourself. If you hear water running, you gonna tinkle yourself. So that's what I had thought was happening, was I was just tinkling. So like 3 drips dribbled out, and then it was like this gush. And I was like, oh my God. Like I think my water just broke, or either I just really peed myself. And then the contractions started, and I had called my mom because she was working. So I had called her and she wasn't going to be home until like 6:30, so she told me to just wait, and that's what I did. So I waited for her to get home, and these contractions were so bad, you guys. Like, I was having to stop and just hold on to something, and like I didn't want no one talking to me. So I remember she got home around 6:30 and we left immediately for the hospital. I had already had my bags packed and the baby's bags packed, ready to go. All I remember is going over really bad bumps the whole ride to the hospital, and it was so painful. So we finally get to the hospital, we get into her room. Mind you, I'm 14, so when the nurse comes in to check me, she's like, so you think you're in labor? And I'm like, no, I know I'm in labor. She's like, well, we're just gonna have to check to make sure. I don't really remember how many centimeters dilated I was. I think I was at like 3 when I went in, but my water had broke, so they went ahead and admitted me into the hospital. We called all the family. His family came. My mom was there. My dad was driving in from West Virginia. Labor was, I don't want to say terrible, because I don't remember it being so bad, but I do know that I was in a lot of pain. Like, at one point I looked at my mom and I was crying, and I was just like, they're gonna have to give me a C-section. And she was like, Brianna, snap out of it, get it together, like, you need to get it together. And so didn't have a C-section, even though I almost begged for one. But she was really a great support system in that room. Like, without her being there, I probably would have panicked. Like, she kept me sane. She kept me calm. I remember them telling me that I was going to have to go use the bathroom before they could put my catheter in. And I was just like, there is no way I can pee. Like, if I pee, this baby is going to come out, because I had just had so much pressure down there. And I was like almost having to cross my legs, because I felt like if I made any sudden movement, like he was just going to come flying out. I went and I tried to pee. Then they put my catheter in. They gave me pain medicine, and it just kind of relaxed me. But I relaxed me enough to kind of be able to rest, but I could still feel contractions in between naps. But it wasn't as like intense, but it was intense enough to wake me up. But I was able to sleep in between them. So literally I got to 8 centimeters before they gave me my epidural. Like, my blood work, I don't think ever went through the lab, because they have to draw your blood and stuff before you can get your epidural. I don't think any of that ever went through. And basically my doctor checked me. I was 8 centimeters, and she was like, she needs the epidural right now. And I did not think that it was going to work, because when my mom had my brother at 16, they gave hers at 8.5 centimeters or 8 centimeters. And she was already like so swollen and stuff that the epidural fluid just ran straight back out. So it did not work for her. And she had told me that story, and I was like, this is not going to work, and I'm going to have to feel everything. Like, I'm going to have to feel it all. That was horrible to think about. But they gave my epidural, and thank you, Lord, that it worked. Like, I was completely numb. I did not feel nothing. And I could not feel not one contraction at all. And I was numb probably from like the top of my belly all the way to my feet. Completely 100% numb. Didn't feel nothing. So at that time, after I got my epidural, everyone was able to like hurry up and come in and see me. Really, that labor was kind of smooth sailing. But I did have back labor. So it was very hard for me to get comfortable with him, because back labor hurts so bad. So when it got time to push, I started pushing, and he just wasn't like coming out. And when he had dropped down into like my hip bone. So as I was pushing, the doctor was having to stick both her hands up my hoo-ha and like kind of pull him over and position him down to where he could come out. So I kept pushing. Well, that was not working. And they took the suction cup, and they had put it on his head, and you know, when I pushed, she would kind of like try to suction him out. And that got him down a little ways to where they could finally see the head, and like, you know, he was coming out. But she was like, we have got to get him out like right now, because like my heart rate and his heart rate were dropping, because I had pushed for 2 hours with him, like 2 solid hours I was pushing. So I think that caused like a lot of stress on me and him. So they slapped oxygen on me. So she got out these forceps, and literally when I tell you they're the length of my arm, both of them, they're the length of my arm. She clamped them onto his head, and I pushed, and she was pulling so hard that her entire body was shaking. He finally came out, and honest to God, she probably should have gave me a C-section just because of how much stress and how long I had to push with him. So that was very hard, and pushing a child out is so tiring. So I remember they got him out, they cut the cord. I didn't get to hold him immediately. Like, they laid him on the table, and they were stitching me up, because I did rip. Like, not hoo-ha to back there, but like one of my lips had ripped. And so she was stitching me up, and it took a good while. And I remember when she was stitching me up, like, blood just shot up to the roof. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh, my bad. That was my fault. Like, that's not even normal to be doing. So they cleaned him up. They stitched me up. I could never have kids without mom in the room. Like, she is just a great support system. But after they got him cleaned up and everything, we had to wait a few hours to get our room that we were going to stay in overnight, or however long they decided to keep me. He was 7 pounds, 2 ounces. And I can't really remember how long he was. I think he was like 19 and a half. God, how could I absolutely forget? I mean, it has only been like, he's 8, so. Okay, so he was, I have my little picture of my little card. See it? It has all his information. But he was born the day that I went back to school. So I had texted my friend. I was like, oh, not coming to school today. I'm having a baby. And everyone, like most of my friends came to visit me after school let out that day. And they informed all my teachers and everything. But he was 7 pounds, 2 ounces, 18 and a half inches long. But he was like an average size baby. But after we got in our room, I was not able to get my catheter out until I was completely unnumb and able to go to the bathroom. I can't remember how I got transferred to the bed. I honestly think a team of nurses with him like picked me up by the sheets and moved me over, or either I scooted over to that bed. But I got to my room a few hours after my epidural wore off. I was able to get my catheter out. He was born, I want to say, at like 2:01 that evening. So I was in labor for a good 6 hours and pushed for 2 hours with him. It was late in the evening by then, and literally when I tell you every single person was there to visit me, like these hospital rooms are tiny. I would say it's about the size of this last room. And you have like your bathroom, your bed, a sink, a TV, and it's just like very small. So like my whole room was full of people from my family and his family. And then I also had people waiting outside. And oh my God, like the best memory that I had was my brother, Punk. Like I could just hear him on my way, and he was just like turning the corner. He was like, "Where is she at? Where is she at?" And that's like the best memory that I have from that day, and I'll get into that a whole nother video, but that is just a very fond memory that sticks with me. And but it was crazy in that room. Like I'm surprised they didn't ask people to leave. Like there was so many visitors in that room. We ended up staying, and they kept me, of course. Like after you have a baby and you get settled in your room, every so many hours they come in there and they press on your stomach to just make sure like all everything is out of you, like the afterbirth or whatever, and just everything is coming out, and make sure like you're not bleeding too much and whatnot. So they would come in every few hours and check me and press on me and give me my medication if I needed it. I was in a lot of pain with him, but they let me go after I think 2 days. So I think I had him on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Yeah, I had him on a Tuesday, came home Thursday. It took forever for them to release me, and honestly they wanted to keep me another day just because I was so young, but I was ready to go home, so they let me go home. And he was healthy. He passed all his tests, all his glucose tests. Before we left the hospital, they did take him in for his ultrasound for his kidney. And what happened was, like, when you are in the womb and you're growing and developing, your kidneys start out as one. And after a certain stage, they split off into 2 separate kidneys. So his never separated. So he has a horseshoe kidney. Like literally, it's a horseshoe kidney. It grew as one, so he has one huge horseshoe kidney. And it's nothing like majorly like health issues to him. He just can't play like severe contact sports like football. And, you know, he lives a regular lifestyle. He's very healthy. He's never had like kidney infections or anything wrong with that kidney. But we just want to keep him safe and not to damage that kidney either. So that's what happened with his kidney. But he is very healthy now, and he was healthy then. So we got to go home that Thursday, and I was really swollen. Like really swollen from the epidural and just from and from being ripped and everything. Like, I was so severely swollen, but it was definitely an experience. And I also got birth control before I left the hospital. I got my depot shot before I ever left that hospital, because my mom was like, you're getting on the shot. So I think that wraps this whole labor and delivery story up. I mean, it's nothing like too crazy, but it was very painful. And I had anxiety about going into labor like months prior. Like, I kept asking my mom, like, how bad does it hurt? Am I really going to want the epidural? And honest to God, I begged for that epidural. I was like, I need it. And it did not hurt at all. Like, it literally felt like pressure. Like someone's taking their finger and just like pressing up against you. It just felt like a bunch of pressure. It did not hurt. And it is wonderful. Like, if you have a kid, I highly recommend the epidural. People who have kids and don't get the epidural, I'm like, you're the real, because I couldn't do it. I would pass out. I could not have a baby with absolutely no epidural. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment, and stay looking out for next Wednesday's video, because it is going to be my recovery process. So I love you guys, and I will see you soon.